Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
And so, as it's the night before All Hallows Eve, it might be time to tell maybe a little story about tonight's venue, Watkins Glen International. You see, a couple years ago, a few friends and I were up for a race, and we went for a hike to Watkins Gorge, and we stopped at the Rothschild grave building. That's where Titanic survivor Elizabeth Barrett Rothschild is buried at. And we went and took a look around, and it was, shall we say, a little eerie. And so we got back underway, and after a few minutes, I found this old key laying on the path, and it kind of looked like it had the same metal, it was made up of the same metal as the lock on the grave. And so I slipped it in my pocket, and we decided we'd go back there on our way back to the cars. And I'll tell you, it felt like we were being followed, Larry, the whole time. And when we got back to the grave, I reached down, and like virtual racers with connectivity issues or some random net code, that key was no longer in my pocket. And we retraced our steps a bit, but couldn't find it. And so it's not just the blue Armco at the Glen that scares me, it's the ghost of Elizabeth Barrett as well. Welcome everyone to round number 5 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Elite, MRA Advisory Group, and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth is not so scary Larry Lefty McLeod, along with Jonathan Grabowski in that virtual production trailer, bringing you all the best views of tonight's action. And so Good evening, Larry, and welcome to the scariest track on Earth, if only for just one night.
It looks to be a ghoulish good evening here, just on the eve of the Hollow. And yeah, here at the Ultimate Hollow in upstate New York should be a whole lot of frighteningly good time.
Yes.
It could get a little bit scary, and hopefully nobody finds a random key to a grave somewhere in their paddock tonight.
If you've ever been to the TV booth, actually you have been
Well,
to the TV booth. I'm fairly certain that there are a number of animals that have passed up there, but hopefully it won't affect any of our drivers as they're waiting to go on track. Although most of them now starting to get ready to go on track for qualifying, Larry, as the practice has just ended. But I think most of our watchers, our viewers here tonight have a pretty good idea of what Watkins Glen International is. Of course, the very first permanent circuit for the United States Formula One Grand Prix, and a track that is really built for speed, and is going to be a maybe not as good a fit as our last venue 2 weeks ago at Le Mans, but still a very good venue here for our GT3 and GTP racers. So let's do this. Let's turn things over to Kevin Ford as our racers are getting underway with qualifying. He's going to give us tonight's track guide of Watkins Glen International.
Welcome, everyone, to the incredible Watkins Glen circuit located here in beautiful Watkins Glen, New York. We are just up the road from Lake Seneca, and we are going to take you around a track that has just incredible character. It is a gem to drive. Well, let's get started as we head up the front straightaway. Pit area to the right, main grandstands to the left as we get ready to tackle this 3.45-mile road course. Across the stripe, we'll head down into this very fast entry of Turn 1. It is known as the 90, and it is a very tight right-hander. Very busy at the start of races here, as you can imagine. Heading up the uphill S's here, we'll keep this throttle wide open up through this section. As we head back to the right, to exit out onto the backstretch. First slipstream opportunity for drivers here as they head down into the famous bus stop here at the Glen. Come down on the brakes. We'll take a little bit of curb on entry, not too much here. We'll come right back to throttle. Run up off the exit here and set up our entry into the carousel. We'll come right to the bottom, use that curb there to help get that car to rotate. Back to the right here, down through the chute, and into this left-hander. Very fast left-hander, love coming off this corner. You can really carry a lot of speed down the hill here into what's known as the toe. We are in the boot section of the course here at the Glen. Known as the boot because an aerial view actually looks like this is a boot here in this portion of the course. Now we'll head to the heel of the boat. Heavy braking here down into this right-hander. Get that car to rotate, track out up off the exit, come back to the right, set up the re-entry into the main portion of the course here, the NASCAR portion of the course. Back to throttle, back up through the gears. We'll head into turn 11 here. Very fast left-hand sweeper, come right back to throttle, let that car track up. We'll come back to the left and set up our entry for the final corner here at the Glen as we head up off the exit and race down the front straightaway here towards the finish line. There you go. There is your track guide for the beautiful Watkins Glen. Thank you for being with us.
And thanks so much to Kevin Ford for tonight's track guide of Watkins Glen International. You know, Larry, we were watching Chuck Labano come out of the final quarter. Kevin's track guide was almost perfectly synced with the lap that Chuck had tried to put in. Actually, it was his out lap, so no time set there, as we're just now seeing some of the very first drivers putting times in the books. Not surprisingly, they are from our GTP field, with early on with the single lap in the books. Ben Rose, your fastest driver on track, and Ben taking the win at our last round a couple weeks ago at Le Mans. Actually, and while we take a look here, Larry, is first off, as you take a look at our timing tower on the left-hand side, of course, the GTP car is pretty easy to pick out. Those prototype cars, they're going to have black mirrors and number boards and windshield banners and the like. whereas our GT3 drivers, let's take a look at maybe Dre Divock, who's coming into the 90. There's Dre. Dre is currently our fastest GT3 driver on track currently. We're going to be talking to Dre hopefully in just a couple of minutes here. Dre is in our GT3 AM category, and you can tell the AM cars as they've got green windshield banners, mirrors, number boards, and end plates on their wings, pardon me. And Dre Divock with his first lap in the books at a 142.9. And then let's move over, let's take a look at Yago Mores, who I think is almost in the exact same place on track. There's Yago Mores from the Wrong Stuff in his Porsche 911. He's currently your fastest GT3 Pro driver. And the pros have the red windshield banners, number boards, mirrors on their doors, and end plates on their wings as well. And we'll break them down. You can see there on the timing tower on the left-hand side of the screen as well. We've got them color-coded for you. But Larry, here as we're just getting underway here, about 5 minutes into this 15-minute qualifying session in which we give our drivers 4 flying laps in order to set their fastest lap to set the grid for tonight's 75-minute race. Let's quickly take a look back 2 weeks ago to the last round at the Circuit de la Sarthe, where in GT3 AM, Jackson Detmer was your winner, started 6th on the grid and worked his elevated esports BMW up to the top step of the podium. Leo Dragota started 5th in his Dragon Sport Porsche. He finished 2nd. And then Chuck Labano, who we were just watching a few moments ago, Chuck Labano in his Frito Sport Racing Ferrari was your 3rd place finisher. He started 9th on the grid. Great run for him. And if we take a look at the point standings now as they stand after 4 rounds here in the World Challenge, 4 rounds out of 7 complete. Leah Dragota currently your points leader, with Jeff Brooks sitting in 2nd. He is only 4 points back. And then Dre Divock, who coming into last round was sitting 2nd in the championship. He falls to 3rd behind Brooks. He's only 2 points back from him, though. Currently sitting in 3rd. Chuck Labano, another 7 points back for Frito Sport in 4th, and then Jackson Detmer from Elevated Esports. And then it's a pretty long way, almost, I think, 23 points back to John Casey from Frito Sport, sitting in 6th position in the championship currently, and that is for AM. All right, let's take a look over at the Pro category, where it was a story of I think Orion and the Wrong Stuff. Our top 2 finishers were from Orion. Mike Dam taking the win. He was your pole sitter at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Robert Hartley, though, started 7th in Pro, worked his way all the way up to 2nd to take that silver medal. Ken Copeland, who started 3rd for Team Esport Racer in his Mercedes AMG GT3, that's exactly where he finished up. And then we had the 2 Wrong Stuff drivers in their Porsche 911s. Augustin Castro taking 4th position. Yago Mores, who we were just watching a few moments ago, finishing in 5th. And so if we take a look at the championship standings now, and we'll bring them up here in just a moment. There we go. Mike Dam is your championship leader. He's got a 22-point advantage over his Orion Racing teammate, Robert Hartley. Ken Copeland from Team Esport Racer is only 7 points back from there. And then you've got Yago Mores for the Wrong Stuff and Travis Schwenke from Orion Racing. And then just out of the top 5, Augustin Castro and D2DE Racing's Chris Thorman are currently tied for 6th. So real tight and close running there. All right, so let's take a look now at GTP, and we talked about Ben Rose taking the win 2 weeks ago at Circuit de la Sarthe, and that was a very important night, I think, Larry, for Ben, as we had a lap of honor for his father, who had passed away earlier in the week. And Ben, I think, did his father proud there, taking the win in his DNA Motorsports Cadillac. Margin of victory over Aaron Beaver, over 25 seconds. The Aerokinetics driver starting 8th in the field and working his way up to the silver. Fernando Takahashi from WJM finished in 3rd, with Bailey Petrowski, who started on the front row, finishing in 4th. And then Ryan Reeves from SRT Esport finishing in 5th. Should be noted that Ian Patience from the Wrong Stuff. He started off on the inside of the second row, and he was one of our first drivers out, finished in 10th position. All right, let's take a look at the point standings, where, albeit with the win there for Ben Rose, Bailey Petrowski, who has won 3 out of the 4 rounds, sits atop the point standings right now, has an 8-point lead in the championship over Ben Rose, the D2D E-Racing driver, his Acura. I'm sure he's looking to get back to the top step of the podium here this evening. Ryan Reeves currently sitting 3rd in the championship, and Rose and Reeves swapped positions 2 weeks ago, with Reeves having come into round 4 as 2nd place in the championship. He now finds himself 3rd, 13 points back from Ben Rose. Ryan Reisman from DNA sitting 4th, and Bobby Childs from D2D E-Racing. Stubby, I can see Stubby jumping around for joy right now, as Bobby Childs currently sitting 5th in the championship, currently with 169 points. All right, Larry, so let's take a look and see where we stand currently. It looks like most of our drivers have gotten through their 4 laps.
Yeah, we've got Petrowski GTP top of the board right there, just ahead of last round's winner, Ben Rose. Tanner Devil up in the 3rd spot there, driving in the Porsche. So 3 different makes, the Acura, the Cadillac, and the Porsche, right now in the front 3 positions of the qualifying at GTP. So good parity going on tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And in GT3, Iago Mores manages to hold off Mike Dam, 148.87, 2 hundredths of a second, separating those 2 drivers. Actually, to be more specific, 17 thousandths of a second at the line there, separating those 2 drivers, the Wrong Stuff Porsche and the Orion BMW. Dre Divock is your provisional pole sitter in GT3 AM with a qualifying time of 142.9, and I should point out that is that 142.903. That is the 3rd fastest GT3 time all told. And then we've got Jeff Brooks, who qualified 2nd in class. And tell you what, Larry, we've got him sitting in the green room right now. Let's bring in Dre Divock, driver of the number 12 Wrong Stuff GT4 AM Porsche. And I didn't know this, but he's also their team manager.
All right, Dre. He all set here for the Glen tonight. Is this going to be a little bit of a tighter place to play than Le Mans a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, but I know this track so well that I just feel more comfortable here, even though it's tighter. So I'm very excited to get on with this one. Been putting in a lot of laps here, so I feel pretty comfy tonight.
Yeah, well, after the result that you had at Le Mans, probably not what you were hoping for there. I'm sure you're looking to bounce back. Is that part of the motivation this week, is to do a few extra laps and get ready for this, try to recover from the last one?
Absolutely, man. What are we, round 5 now? We've got 3 more rounds to go. I really need to make up for some of the mishaps that happened earlier this season if I want a chance here. So tonight, it starts tonight, man, and we got to finish strong. So.
Well, if I take a look at your qualifying position so far, you've got the best qualifying of anybody in the AM category. And looking at your rivals, you got Jeff Brooks a couple rows behind you. You look down a little further, Leo Dragota's probably about 6 rows behind you. So at least from the starting standpoint, you're in a decent position, but you know how crazy this place can be on those opening laps.
Absolutely, man. I just want to get through here with no incidents and just kind of get into my groove. Hopefully I can do that here, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So how's the Wrong Stuff team been doing? You guys have a lot of participation. You guys got a lot of folks in GT3s, of course, here tonight. You guys prepping as a team? You guys working on that to try and get a best result for everybody?
Always, man. I think, most of the time it's everybody's getting together for a race, if it's for this, if it's for any other event that we do, just because we do so many events. But yeah, we definitely get together a lot. We share, we've got, a couple different places where we get setups from, and then we start tweaking those and work together to find out just those extra tenths that we can get. Iago's been a big help here for me and Michael Brooks here. So Iago is just a kind of a god at Watkins Glen. If you don't remember last season, he went from first to last to first. So
yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Well, tonight he's back on the pole right now, at least until everybody gets all their laps in, and I think most folks have gotten them in. He's on the front of the GT3 field. You're gonna be lined up right behind him. You're gonna have Michael Brooks right behind you. It's gonna be an interesting inside lane going down into turn 1 for your team.
Oh yeah, a little the TWS line going in. This should be fun. It should be fun. I'm excited for all the guys.
Yeah, it should be a good time tonight. Anybody want to give a special shout out to do here before the race starts tonight?
Obviously, all my sponsors. I'm not gonna go through them all, but I really want to thank my team. We just help each other so much. Everybody's getting quicker, and yeah, I appreciate my team so much.
Well, awesome. Looking forward to a great result for you tonight. Maybe any luck. We'll talk to you in about an hour and 20 or so. So good luck tonight, and keep it clean, keep it off the blue Armcos, and good luck.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
All right, there you go. Dre Divock, driver of the number 12, the Wrong Stuff Porsche 911. That's one of our GT4 AM machines, and Dre is our GT4 AM pole sitter. Well, we've got 4 seconds, make it 3 seconds remaining here in qualifying, and now the checkered flag is out, and the last driver that I think was on course running was Chris Thorman in pro. And so, Larry, let's we'll have our driver starting the grid up. Why don't we run down the starting grid and tell you what, I've got some. My lungs are in good shape. Why don't you take the GTPs? I'll grab the GT3s.
All right, on the front row in the GTPs tonight is going to be driving that Acura. It's Bailey Petrowski on that pole position. He'll be on the inside. On his outsides, the last race winner, Mr. Ben Rose. He'll be driving one of our Cadillacs just on that outside. In the second row on the inside from DNA Motorsports, Ben's teammate Tanner Dibble lined up alongside another DNA Motorsports, Ryan Reisman. So 3 of the front 4, all from DNA Motorsports. Make it 4 to 5 as we get to the third row. Adam Ross on the inside, lined up alongside WJM Motorsports, Fernando Takahashi. On row 4, you got on the inside Bill Mulfield from WJM Motorsports, Fernando's teammate, and Aaron Beaver from Aerokinetics on the outside of row 4. Just 8 entries tonight, looks like, in our GTPs.
Yeah, a little smaller field than we've been used to, but maybe they all got worn out at Le Mans a couple weeks ago. All right, let's take a look at our GT3 field, where Iago Mores from the Wrong Stuff is your pole sitter in GT3 Pro and GT3 altogether. Starting right next to him from Orion Racing will be Mike Dam. On row number 2, we've got Dre Divock, who we just spoke to from the Wrong Stuff, that Wrong Stuff line that they were talking about going down into the 90, with Travis Schwenke from Orion starting in 4th. Then we've got on row number 3, it's Michael Brooks and Jeff Brooks. So I guess it's the Wrong Stuff, but I was going to say Brooks Brothers Racing there in the 83 and the 85 machine. And then on row number 4, starting 7th and 8th, Jeff Jacobs from SCCA Foundation and David Payton from D2D. Then we've got Robert Hartley and Alex Brown with Chris Thorman and Leo Dragotta starting right behind them. Then we've got Ken Copeland and Lucas Dragotta. So the Dragotta's the Dragon Sport Racing team. They're going to have a run down to the 90 there from the outside, with Jackson Detmer and Chris Peters from Elevated Esports and Peters Motorsports, respectively. Then we've got Michael Caffrey with Chuck Lobano starting right beside him. Then we've got Russ Ruddock and Phil Caffrey on the next row, with John Casey and Greg Brockway, Robert Brist and Chad Curran. And rounding out the field, and a little bit surprising, Larry, here, we'll see if he starts from the pit lane, because he did not check in before the pace lap started, Dominic Angelicchio. And I remember his very first race in the World Challenge was last season here at Watkins Glen. It did not go well for Dominic. I'm sure he's going to be looking for a little redemption here, assuming he takes the green.
All right, so yeah, that'll be interesting to see if he is able to, as they're starting to queue up right now, leading, of course, the 8 cars in our GTPs all grouped together, and then the split start back to our GT3s. And it's going to be hectic here tonight. Iago Mores, as Dre mentioned, had a rough start here the last time we ran here in one of these series, and he not only fell off of the pole, managed to get back up to the front and win that race. So he may be pretty special around here. But Mike Dam, always fast from Orion, will be right alongside him. So this could be a really good start.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to be how they handle the uphill S's there. The very first time, Larry, is again only 17 thousandths of a second separated Mores and Dam here in qualifying, as they're coming down into into the inner loop, into the bus stop here on their pace lap, on their sighting lap, and they're all moving at a pretty slow pace. They're going to need to gap themselves back from the GTP cars, back from the prototypes, but I would have expected to see them start to maybe try to get a little more heat into the tires. I'm sure there's probably a little bit of brake dragging going on currently. And as they're working their pace lap, want to once again thank Buttkicker for joining us here this season. Buttkicker is going to be giving away at the end of season ceremonies a Buttkicker Gamer Plus system to one lucky driver. That system is valued at $279.95, and it is wonderful that this is going to be, I believe, the third season in a row that they've been providing this award. So if you want to turn up your immersion in your sim rig, visit thebuttkicker.com for more details. All right, so Larry, coming out of turn 9, getting ready, starting to form up here as they come into turn 10. It's Bailey Petrowski and Ben Rose, your front row in GTP. That left lane a little bit further back right now than Petrowski as they come into the final corner and start to look down towards, not to Barney, because we do have a real live starter who's going to give the green flag here tonight as the pace car is on the pit lane. And green flag is in the air, and we are racing here from Watkins Glen as we've got Tanner Dibble trying to make a move to the outside. He drops back a little bit. Fernando Takahashi, he took a big look to the outside going down as the field now starting to line up, Larry, as they come through the S's for the very first time. It's Petrowski, it's Rose, and a big slide up through the S's is Ryan Reisman right behind Tanner Dibble and Fernando Takahashi, as already with a defensive posture going into the bus stop is Bailey Petrowski.
Oh, no.
And there you go, Tanner Dibble. He goes all the way to the wall on the outside of the bus stop, just as our GT3 cars are ready to take the green. And let's listen to see if they get the green.
And we'll take a look at these GT3 start now.
They do get the green, Larry, and we are underway. I was waiting to hear whether or not we were going to go to a full course caution, but we are racing here in GT3. We'll get back and see that incident in just a moment as we've got Mike Dam now slotting in behind Iago Mores, going up into the S's for the first time. They've already opened up about 3 car lengths now on Travis Schwenke in the number 16 machine. Dre Divock, Michael Brooks dropping back a little bit. Divock not getting a great start. They're side by side with Brooks' teammate as they come into the bus stop for the first time.
Brooks able to just slide in behind him. So I think it's the 85 of Jeff Brooks. The other Brooks right behind Jeff Jacobs. All these Jeffs, I'm getting a bit confused. But Jeff Brooks, of course, in out of the wrong stop entry. His brother, Michael Brooks, 2 cars in front of him, just with Dre D-Box just in front of them. So all these wrong stop drivers try to team up with each other.
All right, Larry, let's take a look and see exactly what happened with our GTP cars as they went into the bus stop for the first time.
Yeah, so they were all lined up pretty well, and Dibble looks like just carried a lot of curb, hit that thing like a ramp.
You can see that all 4 wheels in the air, and did about a quarter turn before actually landing and just shot right to the tire wall.
And he's damaged, he's in the pits. That's unfortunate because he had a great qualifying right there in that second row. Thought maybe he was going to have a shot to really push up there this time, but unfortunately not to be, as we get a good shot of Team Dragota back there paired up, and there is our leader, Petrowski, still leading in GTPs.
Yeah, look at this, as Petrowski and Rose have now already opened up almost a 2-second advantage on the rest of the field now, just as they're getting, just as they're 3/4 of a lap in. Actually, I guess 1 3/4 of a lap in as we're working lap number 2. It is going pretty quickly there as we see Fernando Takahashi working the wheel there with our onboard cam of Fernando. And he is currently sitting 3rd, as we mentioned, about 2 1/4 seconds back. Oh, and look at this, Larry. We have a new leader here. Early change in the lead as Mike Dam from Orion manages to get around Iago Mores as they go into the bus stop. Mores takes that look, tries to outbrake Dam into the corner, is not able to get it done. And if anything, Travis Schwenke his entry pulled up almost alongside Yago Mores and really impacted Mores' exit speed, and it's given Dam, at least for the time being, a couple car lengths of clearance.
Just a little bit, but they're still pushing pretty hard. We know how this track is. It's not the easiest track to pass on, but certainly you can stay in line for a very long time with a lot of places to draft. Passing is just going to be at a bit of a premium, which means in a train like this, especially if you are Travis Schwenke, good opportunities potentially to save some fuel. So we'll see how that plays into it in this long format here tonight, 75 minutes of this. If maybe by chance he can get a bit of an improved fuel stop once he does. Here's a little bit of a look of Jeff Jacobs putting that Y BMW to work just ahead of a whole train of the wrong stuff drivers behind him.
Yes. Yeah, he's got Jeff Brooks, who's currently sitting second in AM with Hartley and Peyton and Thorman, the 2G2D Ferrari drivers there. Then Ken Copeland as well, and I'm sure a little surprised to see Ken Copeland there sitting back in 9th position currently in his team with the SRT Esport Mercedes. Where's that Team Esport Racer? I always get them wrong.
He's in the Esport Racer.
Team Esport Racer, yep. Sorry about that, Ken. All right, coming down into the bus stop, side by side. Mores takes a look to the inside.
Oh, that's a lot of
Mike Dam, is he going to get a slowdown penalty there, Larry? Because he took a whole lot of grass on the entrance to the bus stop.
Iago took the same line, so maybe they've got it figured out. But that is definitely a lot of apex on there. May have picked up a bit of a 1X on that one, but doesn't seem to be slowing down. So he's just going to keep motoring along in that BMW. While right behind him, Iago is just kind of just biding his time right now. But look at this. It's a Ryan, wrong stuff with Ryan, and then 2 more wrong stuffs behind them. So heavy on the big teams here. Is maybe now he is serving a slowdown. Yep, he did.
Yes, he's now trying to serve that slowdown penalty, and so that's going to move Mores into the lead. It's now going to move Travis Schwenke up, move Dre Divock up to 3rd in the GT3s. He is your AM category leader. And then Michael Brooks, that is going to drop Mike Dam now back to 5th in GT3, 4th in Pro.
Here come the GTPs. There we go, right on through. That's Petrowski right behind him.
Matter of time.
Then Rose picking his way through. I tell you what, for Mike Dam, smart move to serve that when he did, because he got it done really before this whole mess came through. But also, all it did was put him from the front to the back of that 5-car train. Didn't really cost him that much in a 75-minute race. Smart move to not do it in some other more difficult places. And now he's still in this, just as these 7, I guess, now GTP cars come through with Tanner Dibble, of course, out of this race.
And just as you were talking about Travis Schwenke a little bit earlier and the opportunity for him to save fuel sitting back in 3rd, you know, this now takes Dam, at least temporarily, out of that pitched battle with Yago Mores. Let Mores try to lead this field through and use up a little bit more fuel.
Not always a bad strategy to put a goose in the front to get himself tired, as we've got a good shot here of I believe that's Rob Hartley now, having made his way around. And then right behind him is he's got a wingless wonder. And I want to say, is that
Is that Ross?
It's the 72 of Ross, yeah.
Yes.
Missing the entire back end. A little bit of damage on my car somewhere there. My screen looks like it's missing a back end. Looks like it may be so, right?
I think he's got it. I think he's okay. I think it's just the coloration there, Larry. But yeah, it looks like Hartley definitely having some trouble getting around the BMW of Jeff Jacobs. Jeff Brooks did manage to get around Jeff Jacobs' SCCA Foundation BMW on the previous lap, but yeah, we'll see if Hartley can get a good run out of turn 11, maybe get him down into the 90.
Yeah, it's tough really to pass anywhere. Sometimes maybe if you can get a run down into the 90, otherwise it's going to be going into bus stop. Otherwise, this place is very, very tough to pass. All these corners, kind of one leads you to the next, and there isn't really a great spot. But here we are now. Look at the draft he's got. He's able to come down to the inside. A little bit out braking, BMW on BMW, and looks like he's made the pass. And then right behind them, one of our Ferraris. One of our D2D boys.
We've got Peyton and then Thorman from D2D.
Yeah, the 2 D2D Ferraris coming up right behind. And then you got your eSport Racer Copeland right behind them.
Yeah, and I should note, Larry, it looked as though Jacobs did not get a great run out of the final corner. He'd given up a lot of ground to Hartley before they were able to start finish. And even then, it was so difficult for Hartley to outbreak him and get around him going down into one.
Well, now Hartley's able to get by him, so if he's faster, this is where it'll show, is around this the outer loop. While those two Ferraris from D2D now set their sights on getting around Jeff Jacobs in that bright orange and blue Florida Gator colored car. The two D2D cars are going to push too hard on each other. Peyton and Thorman. They seem to be doing well working together tonight.
All right, Larry, let's jump over to our GT3 AM leader. That is Dre Divock from The Wrong Stuff in the number 12 Porsche there. He's dropped off our top 3 drivers just a little bit, or top 2 drivers, pardon me, Mores and Travis Schwenke. But, you know, at this point, he has a good advantage over his teammate Jeff Brooks. He's got Michael Brooks and he's got Mike Dam sitting in between. And, you know, as we've said, here certainly the higher up in the GT3 standings overall that our AM category winner can finish, the more points he's going to pull, because we give the points out by the overall GT3 finishing order, not broken down by class. And so, Larry, we're now just about 7 complete laps in the books here, and already, even with the bit of traffic, actually quite a bit of traffic that our GTP drivers had to fight through, both Petrowski and Rose, our only 2 race winners this season, have started to check out on the rest of the field. Almost a 4-second gap back to Fernando Takahashi's Porsche, currently sitting in 3rd.
Yeah, it's a really good battle, and it's a good job for Ben Rose to be able to stick the first time through the GT3 field, be able to stick to the back of Petrowski. They're having a pretty good little race between them, but they're going to have to go through that field several times, and that's often where some of the chaos happens. So for Ben Rose, it's, you can kind of pick your spots, but staying close is a good thing for him. So much curb. We've already seen one GTP car lose it across those curbs tonight with Tanner Dibble on that opening lap. These guys really taking chances, just smacking those curbs. Plays like a roller coaster. Just ups and downs.
Ups and
dips
downs. And
oh, the camber.
Lean
and
one way, lean the other.
Hills. It's great. Well, Mike Dam continues to be at the tail end of this opening train with Moraes, Schwenke, Divock, Brooks, and then Dam. It'll be Mike Brooks right in front of Mike Dam.
And
Jeff Brooks
and
right.
Yep, and Mike Brooks getting a little defensive coming out. Ooh, moves back over. Drivers left in the braking zone there. Don't tell, I was say, don't tell George Russell about that. But there wasn't any overlap there, but I'm sure it was maybe a little bit closer than Dam wanted.
Mike Dam may have a little bit of rubbing on his right front fender. Even before that, he may have had a little bit of rubbing on that fender. So that car is, he's starting, or maybe it's his left front that he may have there, but he's definitely got some damage there on that car. It doesn't seem to be bothering his pace, although then he goes and runs wide at 6.
Yeah, and then he runs wide in the left-hander there. So, Larry, what we ought to do is he's coming through the heel of the boot right now. Let's watch and see how that BMW handles turn 9, that off-camber left-hand turn, and see if he gets some push here as well.
Hold it together, but I can tell you the Porsche behind him of Jeff Brooks seemed to be faster through there.
Yeah.
Faster than Dam. So Dam, maybe the car is struggling just a little bit for some of the slow corner grip. As you can see, some of that left front damage he's got on that number 93, possibly from that wall right there, is one of the favorite spots to get left side damage around this place.
Yes, it is. Oh, and Brooks takes a look to the inside. thinks better of it. He's going to try and make the move up at the bus
Brooks
stop.
probably knows that if you make the wrong move there, and sometimes all those put you side by side with the rival you're fighting with, but then both of you have got no run to go down the back straight after these S's. So it's sometimes better to stay in line if you really think you got a shot to make a bigger train out of this up in front. So Jeff Brooks is going to maybe try to work with Mike Dam here a little bit to try and catch up to Michael Brooks. And then, of course, right in front of them is Dre Divock, the other of the Wrong Stuff drivers, running in this front five.
All right, let's look here, Larry. This is the battle for 4th in GTP.
Yeah.
Two Cadillacs, Ricmotech and Beaver, as they've both fallen off the back of Fernando Takahashi. You can see Takahashi about 15, 20 car lengths ahead as they make the run down to the bus stop now on lap number 10.
Remember, Aaron Beaver started this race tonight at the back of the GTP field. He just started on the outside of the last row in the 8th spot, and here he is making his way up to 5th already, and looking like he's got some pretty good pace. So not sure what his qualifying was all about, but he certainly has the race pace tonight. He's certainly given Ryan Ricmotech a bit of a...
And remember, Larry, a couple of weeks ago at Le Mans, it was kind of the same story for Aaron Beaver. He started 8th on the field, finished 2nd. As we've got a car off.
And that
appears to be
right
Russ. Was that
them.
Russ Ruddick in the 95 that had gone off? Let's take, or no, because it's the blue
yes,
car.
Yes, it was. There's Russ there in the pits.
And
so
I think John Casey along with them there in the number 78 Ferrari, as it was missing a nose as well.
And the other GTP car that's right behind the gray one is Bill Mulfield, of course, teammate to Fernando Takahashi in the WJM Motorsports entry, but he's actually a lap down already to the Ricmotech-Beaver battle.
All right, so Larry, let's take a look and see what happened there down in the sole of the boot as they came out of turn 7. There's Ruddick in the green and white BMW, John Casey, and
almost like I don't. Sometimes you get them where the cars almost magnet to each other. It's a bit of, I don't know if it's a net code thing, but when they start to touch, rather than just bounce off, they tend to pull in, and that's what it looks like. And unfortunately, for Russ and for Casey, they both spin, and Casey's been in the pits for a while.
Yeah, it looks like Russ Ruddick has managed to. Let's take a look.
He may also be out of this too.
Yeah, I think Ruddick is checked out of the session. Yeah, looks like he's done, and Casey's still sitting in the pits there trying to get things done. Hey, should mention that Dominic Angelicchio, who did not make the pace lap. Well, he didn't make the green flag either, and it looks like he's sitting. Looks like he may be checked into the session, but unfortunately did not take to the track for today's race. As I think, Larry, we might want to take a look here. I'm starting to see possibly that there might have been some contact with between Beaver and one of the Dragotas.
All right, we'll see if we can find that and take a look at it.
Let's take a look.
That's Beaver right there. That's looks like Beaver all by himself, and unfortunately, just clips the back. Oh, was that the 118?
That one was the 118 of Leo Dragota as they went around.
That's the 19.
Over.
That's Lucas there.
Oh, that's Lucas. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I couldn't tell it either, but yeah, the 119 of Lucas. It looks like he's back underway. Kind of a slow speed contact by the time he did after the spin there for Beaver. Unfortunately, sets him back out of the battle that he was in, but didn't look like it was too bad of a contact.
No, it was pretty minor, more just a time waste there for Beaver.
Here's Takahashi. You can see that Takahashi trying to get through in the WGN Motorsports entry through this pack of leaders in GT3, and boy, he's just going to pick his way through around the outside, and you know how the line goes, and then right behind him. Yep.
Yeah, there comes Ryan Ricmotech in the 414 Cadillac and the blue Cadillac as they both get around Dre Divock. And it looks like a little bit further back than that. Mike Dam still hanging on to the back of Michael Brooks.
Well, Dam, he and Jeff were battling a bit ago. Now he's on the back of Michael Brooks, and they're right behind Dre Divock. So all four of these are pretty close. The problem is there are several seconds back from Travis Schwenke. And then even a couple more seconds, and you can see way up the road down there would be Iago Moraes leading the way. And you could just barely even see Travis, who's in second place of this thing. So there is the number 9, your leader, Iago, already around turn 1 and on his way up the hill before the rest of the field even gets into turn 1. So he's already showing his pace that we knew he had here at the Glen. See what kind of traffic. He's got nothing around him right now.
I was going to say, Larry, as they came out of turn 11, he was carrying almost the same pace as Ryan Reisman's Cadillac, it seemed. Here is we watch this battle now for third in GT3, and well, it looks like Michael Brooks and Mike Dam may be starting to pull away a little bit from Jeff Brooks, Larry.
Just a couple of car lengths, but with Dre in front of this. So we talked to Dre, right? We talked about how he was motivated by his previous performance, kind of being a bit of a letdown. He loves this track, and here he is in a good position, leading in the AM category. Jeff Brooks being his nearest rival, a couple of positions back, but more importantly, he's got a couple of cars between two, which is good points return. Now we're still early, of course. We're still good, 55 minutes away from this thing being over, but this is the kind of position you wanted to be in at this stage of the race if you're Dre Devo.
Yeah, and Larry, it looks like David Payton's got an issue. He's taken to the pits, but we'll go to that in a second. But first, this is very interesting here. As on the last lap, Ryan Reisman in that blue 414 Cadillac. No, Iago Moraes wasn't running the same pace, but Reisman almost 0.4 of a second or 0.3 of a second faster than Fernando Takahashi ahead. And he is definitely now within striking distance. We see Takahashi getting very defensive coming out of the S's. I think Takahashi sees the writing on the wall.
Yeah, Takahashi, I don't know if it was some traffic things that slowed him down a little bit, but Reisman, when he was still battling with Aaron Beaver, wasn't this close to Fernando, but he is now. So Reisman looking to maybe get a little bit feisty. They're about 10 seconds back from the front, too, from the leader, Petrowski and Rose. So Reisman may be thinking if he's got a shot to win this thing, he's got to get around here. But this also becomes a potential podium if he can also get this spot at any time.
All right, so let's take a look. As you mentioned, David Payton just took to the pits. Let's see what happened to the D2D Ferrari.
He's right there in the middle of that threesome, just ahead of Leo Jagoda. And slides right in front of Leo and right around the back of Leo and right into a tire barrier that's painted blue.
Yep.
There's some serious damage to that.
Deposited
Ferrari.
his rear wing in the tire barrier and
might have made the back of that Ferrari look better.
All right, and heading to the pits now, Aaron Beaver. So we checked in with him a few moments ago as he had those issues down over turn 8. Let's take a look and see what happened to the Aerokinetics car.
He's going to suffer a bit of some damage as Fernando pops in front of him, and Fernando looks like he maybe had slowed down.
Oh,
and the Kinetics car had nowhere to go, and Beaver then hits the wall. Is that Mulfield?
Oh, you know what? I think you're right. John Grabowski telling us it's actually Takahashi's teammate Bill Mulfield. Mulfield now in the pits as Takahashi is out still circulating.
So yeah, Beaver and Mulfield, the two involved there, and it's again Mulfield there just hit that inside curb on the way in. Car popped up, and then at that point, if you're Beaver, you've already committed to the corner. There's nothing you could do, and it just takes him both that. It's unfortunate because again, he was having a decent run. He did have that earlier spin, in front of one of the Dragon Sport entries, but kept it going again, and now significant damage on his night might be over.
All right, so Larry, just 2 laps ago, we were talking how Ben Rose had been running faster laps than our pole sitter and leader, Bailey Petrowski. Well, he has now managed to take over the lead from Petrowski. So move that number 5 Cadillac up, and let's take a look and see exactly where and how it happened.
All right, so looks like it's going on to the back straight around to the bus stop. And Petrowski doesn't make it too difficult on him, probably realizing it's a long race, no sense. If Rose gets a run, let him have it. All right.
There you go. And so no contention there, and may not need it as well. Rose runs on the following lap, tries to get the car under control, takes a lot of grass there on the exit of the bus stop.
And that's Shag Curran in the Porsche there. They're on their way around. And they got more traffic to get through in front of Phil Caffrey, one of our Australians in the race tonight. Or I should say this morning or this afternoon. What if they've already had their time change in Australia? They've already sprung ahead for spring. Michael Caffrey and Phil Caffrey, of course, both coming in from the land down under here today. Petrowski not going away, I'll tell you that.
Hey, want to thank Bobby Childs for checking in. Childs, D2D E-Racing LMP or GTP driver, and I'm not sure why. Maybe he'll tell us why he wasn't out there racing tonight.
Yeah, his fans are here to watch it, but unfortunately, it's not like an NBA thing where there's like rules about taking nights off. Is there? The league's not going to take action on Bobby for taking a week off. Right?
No, he's having a meet and greet this weekend. You know,
signing event going on.
Yes.
Bobby Childs will be autographing photographs at the. All right, so. Back into this pack, though, there you go. You've got Dre Divock still just ahead of Brooks, Dam, and now Hartley has gotten around Jeff Brooks. So Hartley into the 6th spot overall in this field, 5th in that pro category. I'll tell you what, you'll notice how the graphic has the AM category listed 2nd and the pro category listed 3rd. That's because the fastest car in the AM is now the fastest car on the track per lap in the event. Yep, Dre Divock has done a 43.6, and the fastest anyone in the pros have gone is a 43.7, which I believe was...
It was Moray's.
Moray's was just a couple of hundred slower. Yeah. So, yeah, Divock now, as Moray's just goes faster to take it back. So the two Wrong Stuff drivers leading each of their respective categories, running nearly the same times and swapping fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, as we're showing to the hundredths here in our timing system, Larry, with both of them at a 43.69.
Yeah.
But more importantly, that is Schwenke's 43.69, or probably Mari's 43.69 was almost 0.4 of a second faster than Travis Schwenke, sitting in 2nd. And Dre Divock was about that last time by a 43.8. So the last couple of laps, he's been knocking a couple tenths off of Schwenke, just a little bit further ahead.
Well, Mike Dam, I think, may have the fastest lap of the race right now at a 43.560. So times are falling right now as the fuel levels come down a little bit on these cars and everybody get into their rhythm. This is a really good race and still yet to come, as we're only about 26 minutes into the 75, just about a third of the way.
Yeah, we've got a long way to go, and wouldn't expect the GT3 cars to even start thinking about pit stops, Larry, for another 5 or 6 laps, and about another 6 laps on the for the GTP cars as well.
This crowd here, we're watching better watch behind them, because I can see a couple of GTPs lurking.
Yeah, there's Ben Rose and with Bailey Petrowski not that far behind. Couldn't have got to him in a better place, though, getting them just as they came out of the 90 before they head up into the S's. And Petrowski, well, I'm sure. Yeah, he's gonna go around the outside there. I'm sure he would have liked to have maybe come up on him maybe 1 or 2 seconds later and gotten him fully on the straightaway there. But he's now just gonna have to work his way around Travis Schwenke there as they come through the outer loop.
The speed he takes through the outer loop relative to a GT3, like he's standing still. Oh, unbelievable. But he's falling back a little bit now. He's about 2 seconds back from Rose. Some of this traffic aiding in Rose's getaway, so we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, and Larry, if we look at this, it looks as though Brooks is trying trying to find a way to get around Dre Divock. I think he feels as though we might be a little bit compromised there. And we just talked a few moments ago how Divock was at the point was one of the 2 fastest cars on track. But you know, that has now changed as we've got Mike Dam there really pressuring the number 83 car from behind.
As long as they continue to run good pace, they'll probably keep this. Probably not going to worry too much. Just if you're Michael Brooks, Mike Dam, you're just thinking it's okay. We can save a little bit of fuel here. You're still within, you're about 6 seconds of the leader. So you're still in this thing, especially if you can save a little bit of fuel in a train like this. That's a wide line there. I don't know how wide it is to pick up the 1X, but it's out there. A little tougher there in the corner on the newer scan.
Oh my
wow,
gosh.
is that Fernando Takahashi zipping through?
It's Takahashi and Ricmotech.
Hello. Good morning, Fernando.
and you know, Larry, you know, maybe in another 20 minutes when the drivers are perhaps not quite as at the top of their game, I can see a move like that really turning very, very ugly.
Yeah, these guys, they've been fighting for a number of laps now. Have Fernando and Ryan in the Porsche and the Cadillac between these two. Good little battles going on as they go around the GT3 Pro leader Yagamores. Down to the heel of the boot.
An interesting note from Bobby Childs. I know none of us would really expect that, but he is saying that in talking to Bailey Petrowski during qualifying, actually during the practice session this afternoon, is that his car got progressively more loose over the long run. And Bobby is surmising that perhaps Rose is going to have a better setup over the course of the long race here, and that may be why we're starting to see Petrowski drop back a little bit. Maybe he's trying to preserve those rear tires.
Yeah, it's a good little insight there from the teammate, Bobby. Of course, the D2D teammate with Billy Petrowski.
All right, Larry, coming down the pit lane, and this is maybe, I was going to say maybe a couple laps earlier than I would have expected, as we've got both Mike Dam and Robert Hartley coming down the pit lane. Interestingly enough there, Travis Schwenke still out on track.
So I'm wondering if this is Mike Dam and Rob Hartley saying they can run faster laps and they didn't need to save fuel, because otherwise if they felt like they could run faster laps or having trouble getting past them,
they would have stayed
This
down.
is the best move. Undercut, find clear track, and go out, run those faster laps. And don't worry about the fuel load tonight, as they are both back down and moving. This looks like about the same amount of fuel between them.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, Larry, there's a big difference between a 3.5 mile track and a 7.5 mile track.
Maybe a touch more fuel for Hartley, but not by much.
Not by much, no.
Yeah, guess he's got to watch that exit. It's coming out there right behind Shad Curran in the number 2 Porsche. But yeah, he's a little bit further back now from his teammate. As we flash ahead here, you saw a little bit of the back of Travis Schwenke, and of course there's Divock and Michael Brooks, the next two in line. There's Schwenke around that left-hander at turn 9. Let's see who that was pulling over to let them on by.
I think that was Robert Brist, possibly.
It could be.
Yeah, I think that was Robert Brist in the number 51 BMW. Pulled over drivers left to let our lead
recognize the situation. Yeah. All right, so look at this. Look at Ricmotech now, thinking he may have a move here. He's at least going to force it side by side into the bus stop.
What could go wrong, Larry?
Oh, and nothing at all goes wrong. Look at these guys leaving each other room. Nobody pops a curve too hard, and we are continuing to race. Ricmotech, though, aggressive to try and force Takashi's mistake. Fernando responds, nice and clean exit through there, and holds the position. It's good racing.
And we saw there where Ricmotech had to get out of the throttle just a little bit through the bus stop so he could get the car straightened back up and allow Takahashi to maintain the position there.
Yeah. It's just one of those, you force him to take a bad line. If you're Ryan Ricmotech, you force the inside line onto Takahashi. You make Takahashi take a bad line, and maybe you catch him going around the outer loop. Takahashi did a good job of getting his speed on the exit, and it didn't have any issues there. So Ricmotech is going to have to try it somewhere else. Oh, that's a good place to try it.
Yeah, right into the wall of turn 9. And look at that. Ricmotech even taking a little bit of a look coming into turn 10.
I figured he was going to try and go, but maybe he might have had to check up to avoid Takahashi coming back out on the track just in case. But no harm, no foul. We do it again.
And hey, Larry, and here's something interesting. Robert Hartley, who we just saw on the pit lane with Mike Dam a lap ago, he comes down the pit lane once again.
Oh.
At least it looked like he had.
So I wondered, did he have a penalty for speeding in the pits that he had to serve?
That may very well
Remember
be.
the pit in here is coming off the exit at turn 11. It's very fast in that it's a very abrupt marker to where you got to slow down. So I do think he possibly had to serve a penalty. So that's gonna be tough for Hartley now, having basically pit twice.
Yeah, and that drops Hartley down to 8th in pro. And although his teammate Dam is 7th, there are now 3 AM category drivers between the two of them.
Now, these two guys are teammates, so they might work together a little bit here between Trey and Michael Brooks.
Yeah, especially now that they don't have Mike Dam to worry about in that trio.
And their other teammate, of course, is leading this race from the GT3 category, Iago Mores, in his Porsche. Iago, though, about 4 minutes, about 4 seconds up the road in front of Schwenke, and another 6 seconds to these guys. Or is it 6 seconds total? I think it's 6 seconds total to these guys.
Total.
Yeah. So they're just about 2.5 seconds or 3 seconds behind Travis Schwenke for the second spot right now.
All right, and it looks like, at least temporarily, Larry, that battle between Takahashi and Ricmotech for 3rd in GTP, it's going to be we're going to have to wait a little while to see if that picks back up again as Ricmotech now comes down the pit lane.
Yeah. This might be
in his Cadillac.
This might be a lot like the Orion boys in the GT3s pitting when they were trailing, thinking a little bit of an undercut. Come in, get some clear track, run some laps, and maybe he could possibly pass Fernando Takahashi in the pits. So we'll keep our eyes on Takahashi's position when he decides to pit here shortly, as we're coming up on the halfway point.
All right, as they head out, Larry, let's do this. We're just a little bit past the top of the hour, and we're about 35 minutes into the 75-minute race. Let's take a quick break. Thanks to our partners and sponsors. And when we come back, we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag here at Watkins Glen, where you are watching round number 5 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Elite, MRA Advisory Group, and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
And welcome back to Watkins Glen International and the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Elite, MRA Advisor Group, and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, we've had a lot, not a lot of changes, but we've had a few here while we were away. We're watching right now Ben Rose here, who is our leader, coming up on the back of the GTP field. He's actually coming up on the back of, I think, Ryan Reisman there in the 414 machine. And in the pit stops there, we of course saw Reisman take his stop. We did not see Takahashi take his, but
he did during the break.
Yep, and Reisman is now ahead of Takahashi.
Yeah.
There, and spent what, about 5 seconds less on the in the pit box.
Yep, and that's the difference right now between them. It's about 6 seconds between Reisman and Takahashi. So we'll see when the rest of them, they're still the only ones, I think, who weren't involved in an accident, but the only ones in the GTPs that have actually been into the pits. The other 5 or so, or 4 or 5, have yet to take their stop, including Ben Rose and Bailey Petrowski, who, by the way, are only separated, I think, by about 3 seconds right now. So Petrowski able to maintain a decent pace right now. We'll see how that plays out when he comes in for a stop as Ben Rose continues to lead this race. And then right now, Adam Ross has slipped into third with the pit stops of Reisman and Takahashi. Meanwhile, in the GT3 crowd, it is still Yaga Mores, a couple seconds ahead of Travis Schwenke. And then it's Michael Brooks and Dre Divock.
That's right. So Michael Brooks has gotten around Divock.
Yep, and I'm thinking perhaps these two teammates may have been talking and realized one may be faster than the other.
I could have told him that 10 laps ago, Larry.
You know, you can tell that to him when you get him in here in the interview box at the end of the night.
Just means I need to start using the radio more.
Oh, you physically could have communicated to him. Well, that's
exactly.
You didn't know he was faster.
I just need the crew radio.
Back pedal.
All right, Bailey Petrowski now from second place. He comes down the pit lane, the D2D Acura driver.
Right in behind one of our Frito Sport entries there, as they're also in the pits. I think that might have been Brockway. All right, well, we'll see what Petrowski can do. Long run down to his pit stall at the front of the field. Our pole sitter. Probably putting on new shoes, too. And if Bobby was right about this car going through rears fast, these new shoes could spell pretty good opportunity for him. You're now well past the halfway point to try and make a run at Ben Rose.
All right, so Adam Ross now heads back out on track in the 72 Cadillac.
Just reading Bobby's comments in the chat. Bobby, we knew you're brilliant. I won't comment on the rest of your comments, no. Bobby.
No. Normally I would read what Bobby says verbatim. Not this time.
All right, so that should be Adam Ross.
All right, so Ben Rose now is, I believe, our only remaining GTP driver that has not come down the pit lane as of yet. And look at Reisman, who's been hanging on to the back of Ben Rose.
And doing a good job of it. And really, he's using a bit of a draft there to stay with him to try and hold his gap on Fernando Takahashi, his nearest rival. And the distance between them is about 4.5 seconds from Reisman in third to Takahashi in fourth. Fernando, though, just laid down a 29.1, currently fastest of all the GTPs out running right now. So Fernando thinking he still has a shot at this podium, and there he is lurking in the background.
Yeah, there he is, just kind of lurking back there, almost a full second faster than Reisman was that last lap.
And you saw as they came down the front straight, you had Reisman right on the back of Rose, and then as they went around the 90 at turn 1, all of a sudden Rose just took off. What a great exit that he had. And Reisman not able to hold with him. Now he's going to have to go fight with Takahashi, as we've now got. That should be Travis Schwenke in for his pit stop, the third of the Orion drivers.
Yeah, so Schwenke pitting in from second. That is going to move Michael Brooks now up. And now coming down the pit lane as well, Jeff Jacobs in that wide BMW M4.
Yeah, he's on his way in, and I think I saw Michael Caffrey and his Mercedes just pulling out of the pits as Jacobs is in and up.
Yeah, we're starting to see, Larry, a lot of drivers in the GT3 field come in. right around lap number 25 is what we predicted was going to be around the end of their pit window. So Travis Schwenke heading back out on track, and Schwenke looks like he's going to hold his position ahead of his teammate Mike Dam.
Our race leader is in, Ben Rose from the lead. Let's see what kind of gap he ends up with against his rival Petrowski. Petrowski's pit stop was just under 40 seconds, his actual stop time. So we'll see when Ben gets to his stop how long he's in it. Pops up on the jacks. We'll give him his 40 seconds to do what he needs to do. Meanwhile, there's a good shot of his rival Petrowski making his way through the boot. Around one of the Jagodas. And then right in front of him.
All right, and Yago Mores, our GT3 leader, comes down the pit lane now, followed by Michael Brooks, Andre Divock. So the three Wrong Stuff drivers all coming in at the same time. And we're going to want to take a look at where Mike Dam and Travis Schwenke are in relation to these three drivers here on the pit lane, as Ben Rose now leaves the pit lane, and Larry 37 seconds in the box.
Wow, he picks up 2 more seconds.
Yeah, about 2 seconds less than Bailey Petrowski.
That's good running there for Rose. Good stop, good in lap, good out lap, doing what he does. As we got our eyes now on the lead pack here in the GT3s, as that's Mike Dam coming around turn 10 into 11. We're going to keep our eye on Mores, who's out of his pit box on his way down to pit out. Michael Brooks,
and this is Travis Schwenke just ahead of Dam. And
all right, so the lead
Mores
remains.
Makes out ahead of Travis Schwenke to hold on to the lead. And Larry, the gap is now about 4.5 seconds. 4.2, pardon me.
All right, so not much is going to change. Maybe a couple of hundredths in favor of Mores, but yeah, it's about 4 seconds now. Mores to Schwenke first to second, and then it looks like another 4 seconds or so to Brooks. And now Dam into third, jumps past Divock in the pits.
That's right, and we just saw Michael Brooks put the move on Mike Dam as they came through the S's. As Brooks moved all the way, or probably Michael Brooks moved all the way driver's left, trying to hold off the run that Dam had, and it worked, at least for the time being.
Yep, look at this. Look how close they are. Just nose to tail. Is he going to try it, or is he just filling mirrors? Let's just push him around a little bit. As they go through at the toe, through the sole, and heading down to the heel here between this 7-8 sequence here.
And Dam continuing to fill the mirrors.
Pushed him around. Be a dive bomb to try it here at 9. I think he's just going to try and hopefully force Brooks into a mistake, but those Porsches usually get the power down really well out of these slow corners. The BMW doing just fine, though.
Yeah, and for a car, Larry, that we thought early on might have had some damage at the front end and had been pushing a little bit, Mike Dam has certainly come to grips with whatever handling issues that car may have.
Yeah, look at, he's just a big old shadow behind the Porsche in front of him. Porsche got a good run, good brakes down through that little bit of the dip of the apex at 1. Great run for Brooks off of the exit of the quarter, though. Able to pull a car length or two, while Mike Dam has to now try and use some draft. These cars do draft a little bit. They're not quite like an MX-5 in the draft department, but it'll do. Look, he doesn't want the draft. I don't think he wants to make the pass. That's why he stayed out there when Brooks went defensive. I think even Mike Dam knows this race is not exactly ready to be won yet at this stage. No. You know, with a good 20 minutes or so left in this thing, 25, 30 minutes or whatever we got left. I can't count. It's a long time.
Nor can I. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a great opportunity for Dam, is to just sit behind and wear Michael Brooks down. It's certainly going to take a lot more energy for Brooks to try and figure out where Mike Dam wants to go, if he's going to try and attack, if he's going to try and take over the lead or take over the position, versus Mike Dam, who can just kind of sit back there, shift from side to side, and run Brooks ragged.
It could be. It could also be sometimes those Porsches, they've been known to wear front tires a little bit, and I'm wondering if Mike Dam knows that, and he's going to try and force Michael Brooks to use up those tires here. So just pushing his entry into bad lines, pushing his pace a little bit, and make him use those tires up before we get down to the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, and so Larry, here's I was looking at this. Mike Dam, who pitted in on lap 17, as we saw both Dam and also his teammate Hartley come in on lap 17, had a considerably shorter time in the pit stall than Brooks or Schwenke or Moraes for that matter. And I'm wondering if Mike Dam knows, he may be just the king of fuel savings.
He may have to be the king of fuel savings if he wants to win this position.
Yeah.
He may have to. If he's run a little bit shy on fuel tonight, he might have to get up underneath the back of Brooks and use some draft to try and save a little bit. At this stage, you can see he's backed off a little bit.
And that may be because he knows that he's running the risk of not making it to the end here.
It's definitely one of our better battles out there on track right now between these two, with Moraes now about 9 seconds in front of these guys, and Travis Schwenke nestled somewhere between. As there's Moraes, and you saw Travis Schwenke a couple seconds back.
Yeah, just as Schwenke's going into a 10, Moraes is coming out of the final corner. And Schwenke uses the draft of, I think that was Robert Brist again in the BMW, giving a little bit of a pull down the front straight. That last time by, Schwenke had made up about 0.2 of a second, but again, the gap right now, as you can see there from the timing count, actually, I think we've got the gaps. We're looking at around 4.
Yep. Just about 4 seconds.
4 seconds, yeah.
Petrowski, I think that was him just going around the outside of this grouping right here of Jeff Brooks and Chris Thorman.
And Brooks currently running second in AM, and wow, just the rotation on that Porsche as he popped over the first inside apex there at the bus stop. Pretty amazing watching as that car just kind of rotates around in the air, and then as soon as the rear end lands, it just feeds it throttle, and it's almost a straight line exit.
Hey, Chris Thorman right behind him there is having a pretty solid night. 7 positions up from where he started. And really, having started a few rows back from where Jeff Brooks started. I think Jeff started on the inside of row 3, if I remember right. And somewhere around that range, maybe the outside of row 3. But for Thorman to be up here into the top 5 in the pro, the top 7 here.
And Larry, there you go. Mike Dam comes down the pit lane. I think he indeed realized that he was not going to make it to the end here, and we'll see him. I'm sure that we'll see him take to the pit stall to get a splash of gas.
Well, that's unfortunate. I'm looking at pit times though. His was almost a full second slower or faster than Travis Schwenke. So
yes,
we'll see if Schwenke's got enough fuel on board. He did take a little bit more than perhaps.
Yeah, and again, Dam had pitted in on lap 17, and Schwenke came in on lap 24.
A long pit stop.
Well,
I think there may be something else, because right now there's an incident under review between the 93 car and the 51 of Brist. If the 51 of Brist is in the pits, and there's more damage on the right front of that 93 car right there in Mike Dam.
All right, let's take a look here, Larry.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if we can pick up what may have happened.
There's Brist.
Brist over at the bus stop.
going
very much
slowly.
off pace.
And
And there
yeah,
it
and
is.
unfortunately, Dam gets in the back of him. I wonder if there's a problem with Dam's car now.
Well, that could very well be.
Yes, I'm not sure what happened to Brisk there. He seemed to be going unusually slow.
Well,
I don't know if he had the same
Brisk
issue.
has been very deferential to some of our lead drivers and tried to bring the car offline and off pace, you know. But right there in the bus stop, probably not the place to do it.
Possibly, and that's unfortunate that it may have cost Mike Dam his night. As there's Shag Curran again with behind him. That should be Phil Caffrey. Yeah, Curran having a pretty solid outing here tonight, up a bunch of spots from where he started this race. We've called his name a couple times. Traffic's been around him. Haven't really talked about what his performance is now, but really doing well after maybe a bit of a slow start in qualifying there. But here in the AM category, up to 7th. Classic Ferrari Porsche battle going on here. Caffrey's been faster than Curran in the last couple laps, so we'll see if he can find a way around Curran, around that Porsche.
And we're going to have to see how they handle the 2 GTP cars that are coming up on the back of them, Larry. May impact this race a little bit, as Bailey Petrowski is coming through.
Yep. Although Petrowski at this point now, he's almost 8 seconds back from leader Ben Rose. So Petrowski may be thinking this is time to just get this thing home. Not to really push too hard going around some of the slower traffic here. He's not really without a big mistake from Rose. Petrowski's probably not going to win this thing, so at least he can be that conservative and let battles like this play out in front of him and not necessarily interrupt. So that was a good opportunity to squeak by these two without getting between and let them fight on for a different lap.
All right, as we now have, Larry, about 20 minutes here remaining in this 75-minute race for the checkered flag. And we're currently watching the battle for 7th in AM with Curran and Caffrey, as we're going to jump up a little bit further here. And this is now Alex Brown and Ken Copeland. Brown currently running 4th in AM. Copeland running 7th in Pro.
And this is one of those that's been pretty close most of the evening. These guys have been pretty close together. Even the last couple laps are about the same here, with a Brown just having the nose ahead of Copeland.
And Chuck Labano starting to close things down a little bit, Larry.
Yeah.
And Labano in the Ferrari just a little bit further behind Ken Copeland. And if he can get around Copeland, that could be a battle in class.
Yeah, Labano took about a second out of these guys the last time around. You can see him just at the base of the S's there. So if he's able to take another second out, he'll be right on the gearbox, as they say, behind Copeland in that Mercedes. And there is Labano in the Ferrari. So it's Porsche, Mercedes, and Ferrari here for this battle. 2 of these are in the AM. Of course, that's Alex Brown and Chuck Labano. Ken Copeland in the Pro category. And there is the 34 of Labano. So it's the Canadian trying to catch his fellow Canadian, Alex Brown there, just a couple spots up. Brown pulling away a little bit in this lap from Copeland, leaving Copeland to fight with Labano now behind.
Yeah, it's a good portion of the field now starting to really spread out here. I think we can see there. We can see here. Divock now with almost a 6-second advantage on the rest of the AM field. Brooks and Dragota not that far apart at the moment for third. There you go. There's you can see there's Dre Divock in the number 12. He's your leader, and then Brooks and Dragota coming up.
Yeah, the difference there is they have a couple of cars between them actually on track. So while we got here the 85 of Jeff Brooks, he's got the pro class Chris Thorman behind him, and then Jeff Jacobs behind him. And then you got Leo Dragotta, who's currently sitting in that professional podium spot in the M category. As your points leader coming in, is now a couple of positions down from his rivals, D-Box and Brooks. Looking at those points, remember, we come into this thing, Leo Dragotta comes in with 157 points, 4 points ahead of Jeff Brooks, and only another 2 points to Dre Devox. So with Devox and Brooks currently running not just 1-2 in class, they're running 4th, 5th in the overall GT3s. That's a good points haul if they can stay up there. Yes. Dragotta right now is 3rd in class, but he's, I think, in 8th when you start counting up all of the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8.
Yeah, and so 8th place points versus the other guys getting currently, if it were to end right now, 4th and 5th place points. That's a pretty big jump for Dragotta. So this could really pull things together. Possibly even so you could start. We could even wake up tomorrow morning and have Jeff Brooks leading the point standings. That's how this could go. So still not quite there yet. We've still got about 15 minutes left in this thing. But right now, Dragotta would love to pick up a couple spots if he can catch to Jeff Jacobs or Chris Thorman.
All right, here we go, Larry. As Chuck Labano is caught up to Ken Copeland. Again, not a battle for in class, but Copeland, or pardon me, Labano, if he can get around the Team Esport Racer Mercedes here, he's got to run up towards Alex Brown, his countryman.
Little contact there.
Wow, a little bit of contact there going into the 90 as Copeland gets into the back of the Ferrari. But Brown now needs to start looking in the rear view mirror. Although that last time by, Brown was almost a half second faster.
So it's just a little bit of a touch contact there at 1, but didn't look like either one of them went too far. So give that spot to Labano now, as he's going to try and chase down Brown, but we'll see. Yeah, it's about 3.5 seconds. Not sure he's going to be able to make that up here in the next 15, but you never know. He is pretty quick right now. They may have it closing up here between Brooks and Thorman. Jeff Brooks and Chris Thorman. And there they are. Brooks in the wrong stuff Porsche. Thorman, of course, in the D2D Ferrari, as they've got race leader Ben Rose kind of going around them both.
And Rose cutting it kind of close there as they came into as they turned in for turn 11 there.
But look at that graphic there. You see Thorman really cutting into the Brooks lead.
Yes.
So these guys are not in the same class, but again, all points count for everybody. So if you're Thorman, you'd love to have that 5th place points right in front of you if you can knock out Jeff Brooks. Speaking of knocking him out, save it.
He can't save it. As Jeff Brooks gets the wall, and Larry, who was the prototype car that came through?
I didn't quite catch it.
Well, we'll get the replay here in just a moment, but Jeff Brooks, he's going to take the toe back, and that is so unfortunate, Larry, as Jeff Brooks, who was our 2nd place runner in AM, looks like his night is now done.
Oh.
All right, let's take a look here, Larry, as they're coming up through the S's. And
was that Petrowski?
I think that might have been
the D2D entry of Petrowski. Wow. Well, we'll let the stewards. In fact, it was, because the stewards are now investigating the 85 and the 115. The 115 is Bailey Petrowski. Oh, that's unfortunate there for Jeff Brooks. He was having such a good run, sitting there in that 2nd spot. Now he's going to be out of this thing. Dre Devock now is going to be holding the flag and holding the fort down for the Wrong Stuff team here in the M category. Thorman now is able to move up into the 5th place overall, 4th in pro. Good shot of him there.
And we'll have to see how this plays out for Petrowski, Larry. At the moment, Ryan Reisman is, Reisman's sitting about 20 seconds in arrears, and typically for these types of incidents, we've been seeing post-race penalties of about 10 seconds assigned. So Petrowski may still be able to hold on to that second place, but
yeah, we'll let them take a look at that and see, you know, different lines, choices, and decisions made. Clearly, we all know the rule is that the onus is on the passing car to safely make a pass, which in this case would have been Petrowski. But let's see what they say once they see the replay. If Petrowski had nowhere to go, then it's a different story, but we'll let them decide. It's unfortunate if it does, in fact, have an outcome changer here, because Petrowski's been doing all he can to milk this thing to get on home, but we'll see. See what the stewards have to say. So you got a good shot of him there. Just about 12 minutes left in this thing, as he currently sits about 5 seconds back from race leader Ben Rose. And he's taken some time out from Rose, that has Petrowski, over the last number of laps, but
and Larry, I think let's see, that's the other Ferrari.
That's the Shag Curran, Phil Caffrey. Yep.
Yeah, the battle for 6th.
As Rose able to get on by them.
And I think actually make that a 4-car battle.
Yeah, so there's
Greg
the graphic there on the screen.
too.
Thank you, Duncan. Taken out almost about 2 seconds a lap for the last few laps on into this. So I'm wondering if Rose maybe is doing a little bit of fuel save here at the end of the race and being conservative on his lap times. But things could change should there be a penalty assessed. So we're still going to keep our eyes on that steward's room to see what they decide to do, as Rose coming right out the back of the Frito Sport entry there. I don't know if that was Brockway.
I'm not sure if that was Brockway or Casey. Oh, Casey's. It might have been John Casey.
That might have been Casey, actually. I think it was John Casey. He's about the same position on the track as Ben Rose. So yeah, critical ruling here coming between the Petrowski and Brooks contact. This could have a big impact, no pun intended, because Petrowski now, look at him. You can see him 2.5 seconds back behind Rose. Petrowski's on the move. Ruling or not, he's coming for him. And I do still wonder if there's a fuel situation happening with Ben Rose at the front of the field.
Now remember, Rose did pit in almost 2 laps after Petrowski did, but was in this pit box for 2 seconds fewer. Yeah. So I mean, as you would expect him to maybe take a little less fuel.
I honestly, I'm not sure I would unless he was actually able to conserve fuel in the first stint. But 2 seconds less, that's a lot of fuel in one of these cars. So that could be what's going on here. Is there's still about a second a lap difference on the last time around? Now, 6/10 at least between Rose and Petrowski, and there's that gap currently 2.8. So maybe Rose is responding a little bit here, seeing Petrowski closing it up. Rose, of course, anxious to hear whether or not there's a ruling coming to Bailey's time.
Yeah, I say the earlier that decision comes down, Larry, could if Rose has a possible fueling issue, or is
like
concerned about being able to make it to the end. Yeah, I'd like to know sooner rather than later if I can back off or not.
Yeah. His lap times had slowed up a little bit. He had done a couple laps in the 31s and 30s. He did respond the last time around at 28.5 to Petrowski's 29.1. So he did respond quickly when you realize something maybe is coming for him. But he's going to have, if he does have a fueling issue, he may have to back off again, as we're still not quite down to the last couple laps. So, we're at 106 to whatever, 115. The way these guys throw laps around here, under a minute and a half, we could still be looking at, I don't know, about 5-6 laps to go.
5 or 6 laps, maybe. Yeah.
So he makes his way around the 62 of Brockway down the front straight. Well timed. And it looks like Copeland there in front of him. Copeland moves out of the way. Board now with Petrowski trying to do the same thing, and so he gets to the inside of Copeland before the bus stop. He does.
Plenty of time.
Oh, the car's so fast through there. 130 something, 140 mile an hour around parts of that bus stop. Still doing 105 as they come around down turn 6.
Yeah,
My modified streetcar wouldn't do 105 at any part on this track, let alone to the apex at 6. That's insane speeds.
All right, let's jump back to this fight between Shad Curran there in the number 2 Porsche and Phil Caffrey. This is the battle for 6th, and I think we've got Brockway a little bit further back. Brockway now getting caught up in that GTP traffic.
He's going to make his way around. I think that's Takahashi getting right around the outside of Curran.
Yeah, thankfully, and that is given the grip that those GTP cars have, Larry. It's a great place for them to make a move, because there is no way that those GT3 cars would want to wander out even 3/4 of the way out to drivers left there. All right, so Leo Dragota, who moved up to 2nd in AM after we had Jeff Brooks retire, he's got a little bit of a challenge right now from Robert Hartley from Orion, directly behind Hartley now sitting 6th in pro.
Yeah, with just about 6 minutes left. And in fact, he may have just got himself a course cut or something, because he just gave up that position. And that's giving up points. I know it's not within class, but again, they do award overall points to these drivers in the AM category. So giving up a pro position does hurt your points in the end. But I do wonder if perhaps he had a bit of a course cut somewhere. He's still pending to serve, perhaps back at the bus stop. Just like we had seen earlier with Mike Dam at the opening part of the race.
Where he waited and didn't think that he'd be able to wait all the way till he got to the sole of the boot, but was able to.
We've got a steward's ruling on the Petrowski, so been reviewed, no action, determined to be inconclusive. So no action to come. Petrowski's free to attack, and Rose is free to defend with inside of 5 minutes or inside of 6 minutes.
And Bobby Childs, who called it in the chat, is free to gloat. So there you go.
That's his boy Bailey. They are teammates in D2D. Right.
So Larry, we saw at one point where Rose had thrown down a lap where he picked up 0.6 of a second on Petrowski. Just did it again, and this time by 1.3 seconds.
Yep. I wonder if he was thinking fuel, but maybe now realize he's got enough to get to the end. He's going to be pretty desperate to get by these guys, though. He gets around one, but not the other. Going into the bus stop, he's still got to get around Hartley, but managed to get between Hartley and Dragota before he made his move, and now he's going to go take the wide line around the banking there at the outer loop. He's going to make Petrowski do it the hard way down here through the boot.
Yeah, Petrowski's going to get to these guys right at perhaps the wrong time. Oh, no, he's going to be able to come underneath Hartley going into the toe. Perfect timing there.
Yeah, he's trying. Looks like it's less than 2 seconds now, so Petrowski doing a wonderful job here now with just about 4 minutes left in this thing. So I don't know, are we talking 3 laps maybe? As they're about to come across start finish here in a couple more corners. I think that might be more than 2 laps. We might get a 3rd lap out of this, which if you're Ben Rose and you're watching your fuel loads, that may not be good news for you. He's going to get around another one of our D2Ds.
There's no way that he could start backing him up at this point. No.
That's Thorman. He just got around there. And look at this. Petrowski, as they come across start finish at the 11:23 mark, I'm going to guess we've got 3 laps.
And Petrowski knocked a full second. 2
seconds. He took 2 seconds.
Yes,
out.
2 seconds. A 128.6 to a 130.5. So net gain over the last 2 laps was a half second.
Yep, and some of that may have been traffic, but I tell you what, if there's 3 laps to go, and there might be, because I think they're gonna. If each lap of these guys is a minute and a half, 2 laps is 3 minutes. There were more than 3 minutes left when they came across the stripe. So, yeah, we're down to 2.5 laps now. But if you're Ben Rose and you've got any sort of fuel concerns, you may have to find a way to win this race. Petrowski is hustling.
That's right. We've got just now.
Oh, that's a lot of hustle there from Petrowski.
Wow, yes.
Big slide to the toe.
Ooh. Got the power down maybe a little bit too early
look
there.
In front, Rose has got to take an awkward line through the heel of the boot, while Petrowski gets a good exit there. That was Michael Brooks alongside of Rose as they went into turn 8. But he gets a clean run through 9, while Petrowski has to wait to get past Brooks. is going to be tight now with, we'll call it 2 laps to go.
Oh, and a little bit of contact there on the wall coming out of turn 11.
Yep.
And Larry, you know, I think a little bit too early to say this. You know, we saw as Petrowski came through the toe of the boot. And oh, wow, look at all the traffic that these drivers are going to come up on.
Oh, boy, we saw this a few minutes ago. Is it going to end in tears for everybody? Look at Rose gets through. Petrowski's not got to do the same thing. Does Schwenke see him?
Petrowski has to take to the grass and now manages to come down the inside and beats them all into the bus stop. Although we had one car, I think, did not make the. Yeah, I think that was Brockway that didn't make it into the bus stop there. But Larry, as the clock is running down here, that is certainly something that we're going to have to worry about.
That might have hurt Petrowski's chances there, as Rose did an awesome job to get through when he did at the tops of the hill there before he got down to the bus stop, forcing Petrowski to have to deal with it almost all the way through that bus stop. So great job there, as here we are now going through the heel, probably for the second to last time. We should get white flag next time by. And it's going to end up being about 2.5 seconds between them as they come around turn 9 with who knows how much tire left under them. Remember, Bobby said that the D2D car, Petrowski, wears the rears and long runs.
And
What's
just before they came up on the traffic, Larry, that was the point I was trying to make.
And that's a wide run for Rose. Was that Petrowski in the background there?
That is, and there you go. White flag is in the air. And John, I don't know if we can throw up a track map to see how much traffic these drivers have ahead of them.
Lucas Dragotta right now in front of him in the Dragon Sport is right in front of Petrowski as they go up. So again, more traffic for Petrowski than for Rose in the wrong spots. Now Petrowski does dispatch them 2.8 as they go to the bus stop for the last time.
And we can see there's theoretically one AM driver that they're going to have to deal with here probably till the end of the race.
And I think that's going to be Brockway if I got my numbers right. So we'll see. Rose is going to catch him, probably going through the toe, coming out of the toe, maybe if he's lucky. Which might put Petrowski right on Brockway coming into the heel. Oh, it's Rose going to be on Brockway through the heel. And he's going to get slowed up just a little bit. Not enough, though.
I don't think it's going to be enough, Larry, as Rose now has just 2 corners remaining, looking for his second win in a row here at Watkins Glen. Bailey Petrowski now having to deal with that slower car, and it's not going to do him any favors as Ben Rose comes onto the front straight. Nothing but the checkered flag ahead of him, and Ben Rose wins round number 5 of the Ricmotech World Challenge here at Watkins Glen. Bailey Petrowski, he's going to come home second in GTP, and then Ryan Reisman, quite a distance back. He should finish in third. There he is, as he's now coming through turn 9. Taking the win in GT3 Pro, Iago Mores for the wrong stuff. And finishing second, Travis Schwenke just now coming across the line. He's going to take home the silver. And finishing in third in GT3 Pro is going to be Michael Brooks. Also from the wrong stuff, Dre Divock now comes onto the front straight. And Divock's going to take the win in GT3 AM. So great battle there at the end, and Rose had just enough to hold off Bailey Petrowski, Larry, as Ryan Reisman also holds off Fernando Takahashi. Reisman's going to finish third in GTP. As Leo Dragotta just now crosses the line, and he comes home second in GT3 AM, and finishing third, Alex Brown. He holds off Chuck Labano, and Labano just was not able to get the Ferrari up to that 67 Porsche, and Alex Brown will come home in third. All right, so Larry, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to some of our podium finishers here at Watkins Glen, where you've just seen 75 minutes of action as part of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Elite, MRA Advisory Group, and Buttkicker here on Apex Racing TV. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Welcome back to Watkins Glen International, where you've just seen round number 5 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Performa Elite, MRA, and Buttkicker. And let's go and we'll run down that finishing order once again, and then we'll talk to some of our podium finishers. Taking the win in GTP from DNA Motorsports, Ben Rose holds off Bailey Petrowski at the end, with Ryan Reisman from DNA coming home in third. In GT3, Dre Divock takes the win in his Wrong Stuff Porsche. Goes from pole to checker, with Leo Dragota from Dragon Sport finishing second, Alex Brown from Team Collusion finishing in third. And then in GT3 Pro, well, you heard Dre Divock's predictions at the beginning of the race. Iago Mores, he goes flag to flag, taking the win for the Wrong Stuff in his number 9 Porsche. Travis Schwenke from Orion finishing second, and Michael Brooks from the Wrong Stuff finishing in third. All right, so Larry, let's talk to some of our podium finishers here, and let's start off with our GT3 AM winner. It'll be the second time that we've spoken to him. It's going to be Dre Divock.
All right, well, we'll pick up right where we left off an hour and a half ago. Dre Divock, congrats. Instead of just the pre-race, you're here post-race, and you got yourself a victory in AM category. How you feeling?
It's fancy seeing you guys again, huh?
Yeah.
Felt good, man. It wasn't as clean as I wanted to be. I thought I was going to be maybe a hair faster, but I'm okay definitely with the P1 in class, and was a 4th overall, so I'm definitely okay with it.
Yeah, it looked like it got a bit hectic out there at times with some of the speed that the GTPs would come up on you guys, and you guys had a train going for a while, about 5 cars deep. And when those GTPs came by, boy, there was like lightning past you guys. How do you maintain composure when your relative team, sometimes they just pop out of nowhere?
They pop up pretty quick. You just make sure you stay your line, and hopefully they understand to make the correct moves when they need to. Ben, Bailey, both know that really well. So when they come up behind you, they're pretty quick, but they know what they're doing. So it's really good to see out there, and some other guys do a really good job. Didn't really have too many issues with them tonight per se. They were all pretty clear. It's just sometimes lift off, let them pass, just take the corner and save your race.
Yeah. Well, awesome job tonight. A lot of folks there was some attrition in this race with some incidents left and right, but you managed to keep your nose clean and hang around and not just lead in the M category, end up 4th overall. Pretty fast run for you tonight here, Dre. But I'm sure you never quite get here alone. I'm sure you got some folks you want to thank for helping you.
Yeah, but did you see I almost lost it in the last lap? with the incident on the straight up the hill. I hit the brakes. I started sliding. I'm like, there it is, and I saved it and finally got out of it. Oof. That
you got to teach your teammate how to make that move because Jeff didn't quite fare as well.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jeff. Yeah, he was having a pretty good race too, but.
Yeah, but a good night overall for the Wrong Stuff team, and I'm sure they're a big part of your victory here.
Absolutely, man. The team has just been insane with helping everybody just get faster. As you can see tonight, we all finally finished the race. So we've been really taking care of the cars lately, trying to put toward, to tell everybody, hey, let's start finishing some races. I know everybody wants to be quick, but I think at the end of the day, we want to finish. And if you finish, you're gonna get some points. If you end up in the end, you're not gonna gain points. So it's good to get those points and keep moving up.
Well, awesome job. We'll have to wait and see what the points refresh looks like for you here tonight, but you're definitely going to be gaining on your rival as he's a bunch of spots back behind you. So great job tonight, Dre. Congrats on that victory, and well earned tonight.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Awesome job as always.
All right, there you go. Dre Divock, driver of the number 12, the Wrong Stuff Porsche, finishing with the win here tonight in GT3 AM. So, Larry, let's move over to GT3 Pro, and we're going to bring in Dre's teammate, driver of the number 9 GT3 Porsche for the Wrong Stuff. It's Iago Mores.
All right, Iago Mores, we had your teammate Dre in the pre-race tonight. He predicted it. He said nobody's got more speed around here than Iago, and you proved it tonight, going virtually flag to flag. There were a couple moments there where you were looking at the back of Mike Dam, but for the most part, you had this race under control. You take this well-earned win. How you feeling?
Good evening, everyone. Finally, the winning. So, come. So emotional. The car is tricky on the start of the race, but I to the moment to the pedal, but I made the good strategy. The traffic is insane on the Watkins Glen.
Yeah, it's a great track for draft, but once you got away, no one was going to catch you tonight. Is this your favorite track?
Yeah, it's my favorite track. Tire, I hate it.
It looked like it. You're always fast here, and tonight it's victory for you and victory for your team, the Wrong Stuff. Do you want to give any thank yous or some mentions to those teammates?
Yeah, firstly I thank my girlfriend who's watching every race, my team, my family, and all of watching. Thanks.
Awesome job. Congrats to Iago Mores, your winner in GT3 Pro tonight.
All right, there you go. And Larry, we do have the points all calculated already at this point. I want to thank our league admins for that.
Yeah.
And Iago Mores starting to close things down. Still a 27-point gap up to Mike Dam there in the lead, but definitely starting to close things down. And more importantly, Iago, I think, leapfrogged Robert Hartley as Hartley drops back to third in the championship. And in AM, AM Dre Divock is now your new points leader, as we are five of 7 races into this championship, and he has a 1-point advantage over Leo Dragotta from Dragon Sport Racing. Chuck Lobano not sitting all that far back. He's sitting 18 points back.
Where would Jeff Brooks have been if it wasn't for that incident?
That is absolutely
It's some rough
right.
luck for Jeff, because he was right. He was second coming into tonight in a good points position, but there's always next time. That's what racing is.
That's exactly right. And well, you could hear the disappointment in Dre's voice when you mentioned it. All right, let's move over now to we've got him sitting here in the green room now. Let's bring in Travis Schwenke. Travis finished second tonight in GT3 Pro in the number 16 Orion Racing BMW.
Travis, a second place finish tonight, but boy, you're kind of carry the flag because your team had a rough go at it tonight between incidents, and I don't know if it was a drive-through penalty or whatever else, but a hard-fought second place for you has got to feel at least a little bit of satisfying on the other end of it.
Yeah, for sure. Congrats to Iago for running a great race, free of any issues, and he made it through the bus stop the same number of times I did without any incident, so that was good. But yeah, the Beamer has this weird thing where it's like quick and fought for the first 5 laps, and then it goes slow for another 6, and then it kind of comes back, and I could match his time, but at that point, he had kind of take advantage of the time when it seemed slow. And then at the end of the stint, it's just rocket, but of course you can't do the end of the stint every time. So
yeah.
But overall, yeah, I was glad to just survive then and manage. I felt unfortunate for those the AM cars. I was kind of in the pickle. I was watching the timing, and I'm like, I have to pass, or else I'll get Brooks within a second. He would have had his eyes really big coming after me. So I felt like I had to pass. Unfortunately, I thought maybe he should have lifted a little bit, let me go easier, and then he would have been able to defend his position. But it is what it is, and I just was like, this is why I don't want to be here either. I'm kind of in a bad position because they're fighting. So, but overall, yeah, great race, good fun.
Yeah, it's a tough track to pass at times, and pace matters. This place is so fast; it puts such a wear on these cars, and really, it's a test. This place is an absolute test. So, podium finish sometimes is a success, but for you, the only Orion driver to really have that strong finish coming up to the end. But I'm sure you want to maybe mention a couple of teammates here helping you get up to the podium.
Yeah, Mike did the setup this time, so. I had another race this weekend that it was taking all my time, so I couldn't do too much setup work. But thanks to Mike for doing that, and of course the whole Orion team supporting us. And Mike actually did some of the work on getting us what our fuel number should be and pit number should be, so that was a help as well. And Rob, he just shows up as quick. Unfortunately, as you said, he had that drive-through. And thank Huffy for being along, and obviously Apex and Extreme for putting this great series on.
Well, awesome job, Travis, and another podium finish, and a couple more rounds to go. See how much further up the ladder you can make it.
Sounds good.
All right, there you go, everybody. Travis Schweike, driver of the number 16 Orion Racing BMW, finishing second tonight in GT3 Pro. And so, Larry, let's move over now to the prototypes, over to GTP, taking home the silver, finishing second tonight here at Watkins Glen from D2D E-Racing. Bailey Petrowski.
Hi, Bailey. Interesting race tonight. Bobby was telling us that in long runs, your rear tires tend to go away, and it kind of played to that form in the first stint. But as you got to the end of the race, you had some serious pace, and you were pushing hard to catch Ben. Was car feeling better at the end of that one?
Oh, absolutely. I hit the wall on lap 1 in the final corner, and that seemed to do a lot of damage to my car, so I was trying to manage the damage for the rest of the stint. I think going in the pits, I had 25 seconds worth of damage. So I was able to repair around 10-12 seconds of it when coming back out, and I think that was just enough to get my pace up a little bit, but the pace was still there. At least I was a couple tenths off of the pace that I was doing on my practice laps. But yeah, the car felt so much better in the final stint. It was just a little bit skittish going in some corners, so I had some sketchy moments at times, but otherwise it was back to being quick.
Yeah, it looked great. And I tell you, right at the end there was, we'll talk to Ben in a second, but I'm guessing he was getting a little bit nervous seeing you get closer and closer, and that traffic, I thought for a minute, I thought it was going to be all tears for everybody a couple of times in those last few laps as you were making your way through those GT3s, but all clean, got your way through there. All of the stewards said it is incidents and whatever they are, no penalties assessed. So that was good to see. But for you, it's a good collection of points. You've still got the points lead, but it's starting to get pretty close.
Yeah, it's starting to get a bit nervous, especially now that Ben's got his pace back. He kind of disappeared for a few races, and I think he just got unlucky and had damaged those races. But after Le Mans, he's been so quick, and I've just been like, for the most part, I can keep in front of him, and I feel like I was pretty lucky to get the pole lap, since I haven't done that for the last few races. But I have the pace. It's just I need to be consistent with it. This wasn't a track that I've generally been good at, so I was trying to be optimistic going into this, but I seem to always have poor luck here. And well, I'm looking forward to the next few races. They're tracks I haven't raced a ton at, but they're really fun to race at, so I think it'll be a really good finish to the season.
I think you're right. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun as we wind down on a couple of more races to go. But I guess if a bad luck track still yields a second place finish, I think I would probably walk away and take that as a success. So
Very
a
true.
great job for you tonight in this second place. But I'm sure you got some folks you want to thank for helping you get here.
Yeah, I want to thank my friends and family. Thank you, sponsors. Thank you for D2D for having me as a driver. And yeah, I think that's everyone I want to thank. Oh, and you guys for commentating on these races. I almost forgot.
I appreciate that. So, but good job tonight. Bailey Petrowski coming home in second here in the GTP category.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone.
All right, thanks so much to Bailey. And now let's move over to our race winner tonight, Larry, driving the number 5 DNA Motorsports Cadillac, Ben Rose.
All right, so it's back-to-back wins for Ben Rose, and it wasn't without a little bit of drama at the end. Ben, we were speculating maybe trying to save a little fuel there as we got down to the last few laps, but boy, you made it exciting nonetheless.
Well, no, I wasn't actually saving fuel. I was actually being, I think, probably overly cautious with traffic. There's a few times going down to the second to last turn. I was just trying to be extra cautious and not, kill myself in the process. But this was a lot of fun. It was such a fun race.
It looked like it. I said those last couple laps, while all of a sudden Bailey turns it on and he's closing up, and you're defending and responding, and then you've got all the GT3 traffic kind of lining up in all the fun parts of the track, going up the S's, coming through the bus stop. It's got to make you sweat the last few laps going. Any little misstep could cost you.
Yeah, I said a little prayer when those 4 GT3s going through the S's. I think I might have net coded one of them, and I said thank you for not dying. But that was like scary and funny, and it's just a bunch of emotions there. And I was just honestly trying to manage it with traffic. Once I had I had 8 seconds, then it dropped to 5 seconds, and then it was slowly dropping. So I was just trying to manage between 1.5 to 2 seconds. And ensuring again, it's all the traffic management. Just wanted to make sure I finished. But that last S's, I was like, well, here it goes.
It was going to be do or die, and you managed to do, and to come home with that victory, and definitely a well earned. So it's back-to-back victories for you. I'm looking at the point standings. You're about 4 points now behind Bailey now for the lead with a couple rounds left. So are we going to see you practicing for the next 2 weeks straight and get ready for the next round?
Definitely. Especially, I love Monza. It's one of my favorite tracks. It's like one of my first wins in iRacing with endurances. So that's the one track I'd love to go. A little bit of luck needed. So hopefully it goes well there, and I can try to keep Bailey, a little bit of a competition towards the end, and not have him just run away.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to that one. If I got this right, I think that's even a 90-minute race coming up in 2 weeks there at Monza.
It is.
But tonight, no 90-minute yet. You finished tonight at the top step of that podium. You take that win. You got anybody you want to thank for helping you get there tonight?
My wife, as usual, she's over there supporting me. My teammates, Ryan, Adam, Tanner. Unfortunately, he had that incident on the bus stop on the first lap, and dedicating this one to the old man.
Awesome. Well, it's 2 wins you can dedicate to him. You've done awesome. And another one here. Who knows? Got a couple more rounds to go. This season is far from over. So congrats for the victory here tonight, Ben.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yep. Monza, here we come. And thank you guys again. I hope you have a great night.
All right, there you go. Ben Rose from DNA Motorsports, your winner tonight from Watkins Glen in the number 5 Cadillac. All right, so Larry, let's get ready to wrap things up here. And I think you ran down the championship standings in GTP, so we're good there. Let's take a look at what events we've got coming up on the schedule. Next week, November 6th, assuming y'all make it past Halloween, it is round number 6 of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. We're going to be heading across the pond to Donington Park, where our GT4 and LMP3 racers are going to battle it out for a 75-minute run to the checker. And then in 2 weeks, you heard it, it is Ben's favorite circuit. It's the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, and we are going to be racing for 90 minutes there. That's 2 weeks, November lucky 13th. And then, of course, coming up in January, our MX-5 Cup and GR86 Cup racers return with the Ricmotech Touring Car Cup. And don't have a venue yet or the exact start date, but rest assured, come January, we will let you know. So, for Jonathan Grabowski, back behind the scenes, for Larry Lefty McLeod, I'm Greg Ginsburg, and we'll see you next Monday evening from Donington Park. Have a great week, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
And happy Halloween.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.